Thank you very much. We heard a lot about innovation in the sector of technology, and now we can move on to another very interesting session, AI Social Ripple, changing the way we think, live, and connect. With us, we have Ms. Bozou, who is Head of Government Affairs and Public Policy, Google, Greece, Cyprus, and Malta, Mr. Charalampos Tsekeris, Acting Chair at the Greek National Commission for Bioethics and Technoethics. The moderator is Ms. Eugenia, Kokiou, Chief of Staff and Legal Counsel to the Special Secretary of Foresight, Presidency of the Hellenic Government. I believe that this discussion will be extremely interesting. Thank you very much for being with us, but please try to observe the time. Yes, of course. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for the invitation to talk about this interesting topic, along with these distinguished guests who have already been introduced to you. So we will start the discussion with Mr. Tsekeris Babis. Over the last few years, we have been talking about AI constantly. AI has prevailed in our life, and it impacts various different sectors of the life, personal sectors, professional sectors, and we talk about responsible and safe use of AI. One of the studies of the General Secretary regarding generative AI, in which EKE participated, as well as the research center Demokritos, showed that AI is already here. It seems to be an exponential and irreversible social-technical development with which we need to live, avoiding risks and making the most of the opportunities that arise from this technology. Would you like to tell us how AI changes the way we are, the way we think, and generally the way we live, the way we share, we communicate? Thank you very much, Eugenia. I would like to thank also Eugenia for taking part in this panel discussion. I would like to thank the AmCham for the invitation. Eugenia, you are referring to the topic of this panel, and I believe that this has to do with the dynamics of human relations. I believe it is the soft belly of everything that we are talking about in the context of this conference. As you said, it changes who we are, the way we perceive ourselves, it changes our identity, the value we give to ourselves, the value that employees feel they have when they are surrounded by machines that are more intelligent, that do the same tasks faster and better, and I believe that this will become even more evident in the future. AI also changes what we do, changes the human free will and expression. It changes the way we approach people who we trust. And there is also this paradox of trust when we talk about AI. We tend to trust the AI despite the qualms and the reservations we have about it. And as you said, it also changes the way we think. And I believe that this actually undermines the human cognitive skills. What I mean by that is that the easiness stemming from AI absorbs us in this decreased cognitive skills. This downgrading of the cognitive and intellectual skills because of the overconsumption of low-quality content present on social media is indeed a reality. And it is true especially for the young people who actually voted brain rot as the word of the year. So all these create a complex environment of information, a complex environment of transactions, and leads to individualized digital worlds that has an effect on democracy because there is no common horizon for the future. There is no common sense of the truth. So it is a matter of psychology. It is a matter of democracy. We need to approach all these different levels at the same time, and this is exactly what we do in the context of the committee. Excellent. And this takes me to the second question on brain rot. I wanted actually to talk about the fact that it was voted Word of the Year, and it was voted for by 37,000 people. And I can see that there is an apprehension about the way we scroll on the social media, and this apprehension actually is evident in Gen Z as well, which is rather paradox since they are the ones who use social media the most. But still, they have realized that, and this is what creates all these increased concerns. So, Eugenia, how do you see the future changing, and how will AI changes us? We can see already that AI changes us radically. In 10 years' time, maybe we will be talking about humans and humanity with completely different terms and concepts. And this is not necessarily bad. Many of the pathogenicities described by Babis don't have to do only with the AI. The way we perceive truth, for example, or where we spend our time, the type of content we consume, the truth in our relations, the way we communicate. I believe that all these are not problems created by AI. I imagine that if we were to live in the industrial era when people were going to the factories or were going to the mines and they were going back home early in the morning without even being sure whether they would be alive or not. The only communication they had with the family was not the best. They didn't have the time, whereas now we do have sufficient time in order to delegate tasks to AI and therefore to have better communication with our close ones and with our friends. So for me, it is a matter of choice, a matter of education of the society and of an awareness of the fact that we cede parts of our lives to AI because of the easiness it provides us with. And it is also a matter of morality that needs to govern this technology. If there is this sense of morality, if there are ethics, I believe that this technology would not cannibalize us. And this is the most important in my view. Now, apart from that, I also believe that right now, we can accept the fact that AI provides us with the tools to have a revolution in medicine and in many other sectors. It is a unique opportunity because it is the science itself that changes mankind. It changes our lives. So nothing will be the same. I'm convinced about that. But I'm also optimistic because I can see the discussion on ethics taking place around the world. I can also see initiatives being taken by states and different organizations, by those who are on the safe side. They are trying to set some frameworks and set some rules and principles in a concerted way. And I also believe that it is an opportunity that will change our life to the better.
I certainly hope, too, that it will change our life to the better. And it is important that we are going towards a development, as you said, where we will have AI assistants. It will not be just a system. It will be an agent, an assistant. We will delegate actions. So the whole framework that we will describe now, especially about ethics, is very, very important. So if I may add something. I was deeply impressed in various conferences and where we meet young people in universities, in congresses, in conferences. The young generation is aware about the privacy issues, about how they manage their profiles in the social media. And among their concerns regarding the big companies, big tech companies, is privacy, personal data. Children, young people are aware because they have been familiarized. They coexist with these technologies since they were born. And they have an easiness. They find it easier to use it. My father, who uses Facebook, does not know if he sends a message or he makes a public uploading. It is a generation born in technology. I mean, they didn't come across it at some point in their lives. They were born in it, yes. Let's go to ethical issues, and then we can come back to education. Babis, last week, I'm sure we talked about it earlier on, we have seen the plan for the transition of Greece to AI by the AI committee that was established. So it was presented to the Prime Minister, and issues of digital ethics and ethics in general were issues that the committee delved on. And one of the most iconic projects, 6, I think, refers to the establishment of a global forum for the AI ethics. It is important that this is, of course, a flagship project of the plan, but it is important that for the drafting of this plan, we have had participation from the academia, from the social sciences that you represent. So is this a first step for AI ethics? And can you please talk to us about the spirit of this whole report and what does it entail for the future of Greece? Well, this report has a holistic character. It is a concise and inclusive framework for the transition of the country towards the AI era. Already Greece is swimming in this AI ocean. And since the fish that swims faster survives, we need to move faster. We need to accelerate. And there are actions provided towards this direction. This report has also a combining feature. That is, it combines the underbelly of ethical AI with law and regulations. It provides for investment plans that allow for the development of AI in terms of law and democracy and respect of human rights. I would say that the spirit of this report is a realistic approach. We try to avoid technocratic and techno-pessimism features and techno-dystopia. We try to strike a balance in this approach that places AI in relation to the capacities of the Greek state. It puts forward the need for upskilling and reskilling, the need for infrastructures, for data, for computational power. This holds true for all national strategies, but we put the emphasis on human capital. This is why we're talking about an excellence center for AI. We're talking about a Greek Davos for AI ethics. We have already the lithium project, the Aristotle lithium, towards this idea. And we put the emphasis also on the social capital, that is the development of social cohesion. We need to invest in infrastructure, data, computational power, but also in social cohesion. We need to invest in the trust that people need to develop towards AI, to make use of it and not to demonize it, as Eugenia said. And I think we're in the right path. Social capital and technology together, and to have this project adopted by the citizens. We should not consider this as something that is happening to us, that AI is something that will be done to us. Nothing is engraved on stone. Nothing is carved on stone. We need to develop a wealth of decisions as regards AI, and each and every one of us should reflect on AI and work on our capacity as digital citizens. And there are actions for accelerating, for protecting national sovereignty, national identity with a new linguistic model, which is linked to AI factory, to the supercomputer and the data center. It is an overall comprehensive project. And of course, the beginning of the discussion on AI should start from Greece. It is very important, and the Aristotle's Lyceum project that you mentioned is a very nice action, and I think that very many universities participate, and there is a lot of interest from abroad. So now let's go and, Babis has already anticipated, he anticipates the questions. Legislation comes a posteriori, especially as regards technological developments, and acts in a framework of regulation, but retroactively. In the technological sector, this is done even more so. Technology is moving very fast, and the framework comes afterwards. Maybe the only sector where we can have a framework working proactively and not retroactively is ethics in AI. In this effort, we certainly need to have a concerted effort between the public and the private sector, but we sure need the academia and the society at large. We don't care about the guardrails if they are not to be adopted. So how long do we need? How much time is required to reach that? And I guess that law school has lost the game, but what about ethics? We need ethics in law as well, is the answer. Well, ethics is needed everywhere. You have raised very many issues. We still have 10 minutes. I will not be speaking for 10 minutes, rest assured. Two things. I believe that we need to have a smart legislation. You will not have to need to go each time and regulate layer upon layer to regulate AI, but to be able to adjust certain things and ensure transparency, social cohesion. And I also believe that it has to be risk-based, as Google says. There is no horizontal cross-cutting risk. Maybe as a country, you need to regulate the sector of the economy or the industry or medicine where it requires regulation without adopting measures that affect the whole sector of the technology so as not to block innovation and in order to be more agile in the regulation. And I believe that the AI Act had very good intentions. It goes in the right direction. We will see how it will be implemented in the various countries. What we always say as a company, as a business, for AI, and especially for generative AI, which will be at the level of human intelligence, this is where we are going. You will not be able to distinguish between the two. I mean, this will not be done tomorrow, but it is coming at a fast pace. We can see it coming. So we need to think not just that it needs to be done, but that it needs to be done properly, correctly, and this has to be done jointly. I mean, we were thrilled with the strategy plan. It is very, very very comprehensive. And congratulations, Babis, and to the whole team who worked on this. And I see a very large scope for cooperation. And we are already working on various initiatives. We need cooperation, we need communication, constant dialogue, and a flexible regulating framework that will be able to respond to the needs of the things that need to be regulated and not suffocate the whole effort and the whole science and innovation and research. And I also believe that we need a plan. Again, there we will need to work, the state and the private sector need to work together. A plan as to how this will be navigated by companies, startups, and smaller organizations, as to how they will comply with the regulations. Effort is required there because this is not easy, and the landscape is not very easy, very clear in Europe. You see companies, Google, for instance, which has huge legal departments and major teams who work on compliance. Just imagine what it would be like for a small company. And this is another topic that we need to treat in a holistic manner. I think that in concluding, we could talk about education because, okay, we talk about AI Act, the models should work together, but there is someone who creates them and some users who use them. And education should be horizontal. We should follow the social sciences and all the sciences to have models that are not purely technological, but the users also should be educated, should be trained by the state, by the companies, which will help them to make the right use. And technology will be able to help them if technology changes who we are, how we behave, etc., since we live in technology. I don't know, Babis, if you want to start first or Eugenia to go on. I read some years ago, I happened to come across a text which described, I will not reveal the text, but at the end, how bad it will be to use technology in a classroom. Was that recent? Was it very in the past? How much the teacher's role is at risk? The relationships will be disturbed. The teaching procedure will be disrupted. It is demon itself. And what was it about? It was a text against the introduction of the blackboard in classrooms. At the time, there was no blackboard in the classroom. Now we are having the same discussion, the same arguments for the tablet or for screens in the classroom. So I think that we really need to have in mind the full picture, because things are going very, very fast. We need to learn to coexist with technology. We need to learn about the time that will be liberated, that we will have in our hands. It is important to know how we will exploit this. It is an incredible opportunity to read books and to do away with all these procedural tasks. You don't need to watch rubbish in your free time. So education is a major part. Love for knowledge and curiosity is very important, and technology helps us unlock various possibilities and arouse this curiosity. And I will come back to what I said before. We cannot do that all alone. We have to be in synergy, in dialogue, in groups, and we need to be vigilant all the time. And of course, being informed about these topics, says the moderator. Babis? Yes. Cultivation of a culture. Lacan said that We have to have, apart from the Turing Prize, the anti-Turing Prize for those who demonize technology in order to put forward bad practices and bad and this is why we are putting the emphasis in the upskilling and reskilling and in the cultivation of a mindset for AI, which should avoid false binarisms, public sector, private sector, state and technology regulation or acceleration, responsibility or innovation. These are false binarisms, and history shows that they have been overcome. So we should look into history. We have examined history. We have done research. We talked to all stakeholders, and we have come up with a truly national strategy for AI. And even in this institution that will be created, the committee that will supervise AI Act, all countries are called upon to do it. We are in a transitional stage. We are foreseeing also mentoring in cooperation with companies to have these boxes in order to develop AI models, in order to develop a national ecosystem of AI, and not just to consume AI, but to produce AI. I think these are the guidelines. We need even closer collaboration between the private and the public sector in all these actions that we describe. Very nice. I think all the actions described in the plan require cooperation, synergies between the private and the public sector, the academia and the civil society. Besides, this is for whom most of this is done. Thank you very much. I think we are the first panel that finished on time. Right. Thank you.